can you see this person's perspective,
Right.
but can you see beyond this barrier that is in front of you right now? And we do get to that place of gratitude and actually appreciation. Now, it takes us refusing to stay in a victim mindset in order to do that.
Oh, that easy stuff.
It's so easy. Just get
It
out of that
is.
mindset. Lickety split. Get out of that mindset.
We ain't no victim. No victim here.
That's right.
Victim, no more.
That's right. Victorious.
Welcome everybody here. Leave some comments. And I came up with this idea today. We were talking about change. We're talking about it. So, I go, how many light bulbs does it take to change a person? Apparently 5. And we're going to tell you what they are.
All righty.
We're going to talk about change, and we're going to have a little list we're going to get to. But first, we're going to talk about next week. We're going to have a special guest. Can you tell us about Hand to Heart Wellness?
I can. Hand to Heart Wellness was created by the lovely Delaney McBride, and she puts her heart, her energy, her mind into practicing her practices and walking the walk, talking the talk, so to speak. So she works with people in massage therapy, yummy food like this delish, right? You're looking at here, wellness. She's just a great energy. There's some massage therapy that she does. She's local here in Nashville, and she has a great new merchandise line out that we're going to share next week when she comes on the show with us. I'm so excited. Look at that. Shape doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. Love it. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to find out what that is. I'm going to order me some right now.
Yes.
And mostly this.
Right?
Mostly this.
Yeah, she's a private chef for local folks. And so, she can do you up right mentally, physically, spiritually.
Well, we're going to talk a little bit about, it occurred to me too, there's something that, and it might have even been you and was with you, where I was really caught up in blaming and making excuses for why I hadn't done XYZ. I don't know. And you said, wait a minute, you can't change anybody else. So you're going to be stuck if you're waiting till someone else accepts you or allows you or gives you permission to do whatever it is you want to do. Only thing you can change is you. So
Exactly.
taking responsibility for it's a big, big deal. And let's start with our list about change. Speak your truth.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that phrase.
Mm-hmm.
What's that mean? What is it?
Speaking your truth is connecting with yourself, knowing what your needs are, your wants, your desires, and being able to not only articulate that, but to continually advocate for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So on the basic level, if someone says, hey, Devon, we'd like you to come out and do this fundraiser for us. Nobody can do it but you. God, you are the best. And would love to do it, but you're wiped out, right? And you're like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what, guys, I really appreciate you thinking about me, but I'm going to have to pass this time. Oh, no, you can't. You have to. Well, I really do appreciate that, but my schedule doesn't allow me to do that. Whether it's you're self-caring, whether or not just knows no. But being able to speak that truth rather than go, okay, well, I would love to, but then maybe at the last minute, well, you wouldn't do this. But some people do this at the last minute, they just cancel, right? They no show. Being able to stand in your truth and speak that without feeling like there's going to be a punitive reaction from another party.
Mm-hmm. That's important. That's really, really important to be able to speak your truth. And there's a scripture, speak truth in love. And that doesn't mean just go and blast somebody if they're on your last nerve, or this is not what we're talking about.
Right.
Speaking your truth is what you need for you. And my thing is, I used to agree to all of these, I would host things
Hmm.
for free. And it occurred to me that every weekend was taken up with a free event.
Right.
I didn't have a day off. And I had
Right.
all of this resentment up. And now I've started charging and making it a benefit for my animal sanctuary. I'll take a gift certificate to Edward's Feed, or a gift card or whatever, to a place that would benefit the animals that are on Angel Horse Farm. And it's amazing, when I started saying that, people didn't get mad at me. They
Sure.
didn't hate me. They went, "Oh, that's a good idea. Oh, I love that." And they were grateful to bless the animals at Angel Horse, but at the same time, I didn't feel resentment because I had to go do something on my free day off.
Right. That took you away from doing maybe what you wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking our truth with love, especially when we're speaking it to the mirror, is really important.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I know that, myself included, there are many, many, many of us who can look in the mirror at any given day and go, "Ooh, Lord." But we don't have to be ugly to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We can be kind and gentle and speak that truth with love to ourselves.
I have a friend who, he might be watching, and I always bust him on negative self talk.
Mm,
I was like, "Don't say that about yourself. I'm just teasing. It's all in fun, blah, blah, blah." And I go, "No, no,
yeah.
don't say that about yourself, because it hurts my heart when I hear you talk bad about yourself, because I kind of like you, you know? I
Hmm.
think you're a very special person." It's amazing how much, and and we were talking, and he said, "It really hit me how many times I do it, because now I hear your voice in my head every time I start calling myself whatever and saying those things to." And he said, "It has changed the narrative in my head. But if you change the narrative in your head, it changes the narrative in how you live your life." And
Exactly.
they see the difference. People will see the difference in how you treat yourself.
Hmm. My apologies. My dog just barked.
A
And
little bit. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, and people see that change, and some people that's going to resonate with, and they're going to really like it. Other people, if they have a particular narrative or role that they play in your life that's in a limiting capacity, they're not necessarily going to like the new changes about you advocating for yourself. Just going to throw that out there.
Yeah. Mark says, "I get down on myself. I know what you mean." And it's true. I mean, we all do it. We don't all
Hmm.
admit it, but we kind of. And Mark, it begins one kind word to yourself at a time.
Absolutely. And here's the other thing: if you can't muster up the kind word for yourself, then you find someone that's in your support circle that can give you those kind words. And it's your job to, and I say your job, Mark, meaning all of our jobs, to individually create a space to receive those kind words so that we can start a foundation of that richer, self identity, self love, self kindness, all of that jazz.
Um, there, let's discuss number two.
Advocate for
Advocate.
yourself.
Now, this is not just in relationships. This is in life in general. Advocate for yourself. Now, you go, Teri. You talk about yours. I want to tell you how it affected me when I saw advocate for yourself, and how I've been applying this to my life.
Okay. Advocating for yourself would be, um, first and foremost, learning the techniques, being willing to learn the techniques of believing in yourself. We hear the term stand up for yourself, advocate for what you believe in. That takes some self discovery to really be able to stand in your truth. Again, we talk about speaking your truth. Well, advocating for yourself is actually stepping into your truth and standing there with your feet fully planted and being above all else the one person that is truly on your side.
For me, there is a phrase that ye have not because you, there are many times that we don't ask for what we need, want, desire. We don't apply for the, we expect the world to become psychic and
Mm-hmm.
somehow give it to us. And then we build up resentment because, well, why didn't they ask me? Well,
Mm-hmm.
nobody knew you wanted it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And then
Absolutely.
we, and resentment does not buy us any good thing. Nothing. It is not the currency we want to spend in life.
No, and it is very transactional. So we start resenting others, others start resenting things about us. And then that starts a new narrative. It's a whole different chapter in the book. The narrative of, the negativity and the wants and all of that. I know someone who had a job with a degree that they had, and they liked their job, but they really wanted to do something different. And so they approached their management about, hey, here's an idea. We don't have this in our business makeup. Could we use this? Could we utilize this? And they were like, oh my gosh, we've never thought about that. That would be fantastic. Write up a short proposal on what that looks like, and let's talk about that. So they now are creating a position, their dream position within a company, and it's working out lovely because they
Mhm.
advocated for themselves. They spoke into existence an idea and then took the action steps to create that.
Mark is adding, when I do have negative feelings about myself, friends tell me, no, you're not like that, but it's hard sometimes.
Hmm. So here's the thing that I'll ask Mark. We'll go interactive today, and I'm going to ask Mark this question. Mark, would it be helpful to you if when someone says, if you're down on yourself and someone says, don't be that way or don't feel that way, would it be more helpful to you, or how would it land on you if they said, why do you, would you like to share why you feel that way or what makes you feel that way? Some people are open to that, and other people are like, heck, no, I'm not going there. But I'm just curious because I address people when they say, oh, I'm just not good at that. Instead of saying, no, you are, I say, why do you believe that? Because that allows us to do a little self discovery rather than just play that back and forth game.
Hmm. Wayne, good morning. And he says, good morning to both of us. Happy
Hello.
Wednesday. Happy Wednesday to you. I love turning that around and going, tell me what you see.
Mm-hmm.
Have your ride or dies. Have you think I'm good? Then tell me why. Help me see what you see.
Mm-hmm.
And start understanding that. It's really great. Speak your truth, advocate for yourself. If you want a change in your life, start saying it, even if it's only to the universe. This is what I see. This is what I'm going for. This is what I believe. Take action with your dreams. I always say dreams are, that's an action word. Dreaming
Mm-hmm.
is an action word.
Right. A lot of people would have us believe that dreams are just the airy fairies that are out there and they're not attainable. Dreams are just another word for it's an action word, it's a goal, it's a mindset, it's an intention. Depends on what name you want to pull out of the grocery bag, but it is a next step for yourself. So taking action steps in those directions. And you said something just a second ago, Devon, about, if it's speaking your truth and, advocating for what you want, even if it's only to the universe. There's a saying out there, and I'm not sure where it came from, but it says you take a step in the direction of your dreams and the universe takes 10,000 in favor. So you can substitute for the universe for whatever your higher power is, but that's really how
Mhm.
that can work. And it cannot work if you have a victim mindset because your brain will find a reason for you not to succeed.
Well, got a lot more people joining us. Steve Rame. Hi,
Hey,
Steve.
Steve.
And Mark has something important. I just get down and don't know why I feel that way. It's hard to explain. Oh, I get that one.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes life blindsides us, right? And we have a lot of
Mhm.
past experiences and reactions come up, and it's hard to sift through those quick enough, and it catches us off guard.
Mhm.
So, having a game plan for when that happens works in our favor, and it allows our brain to work in our favor as well.
Wayne, yes, I love turning that around because it might open the door for someone who's not as open to just coming out and saying what they feel. Sometimes they need to be asked.
Very true. And
Very.
you're absolutely right. It gives an opportunity for someone to share what they may otherwise be a bit reluctant to because of whatever their history is.
EB is here. Elizabeth has joined us, and Wayne. So we were waiting for you, Elizabeth, and of course Wayne and Mark. Hi, Wayne. Hi, EB. We have our little family here. I love it. And Suzanne. Hi. Make your dreams come true. It
There you
is. It's
go.
making, and it begins with specifics.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my dreams usually end up being the things I always say that because if I have a dream that I remember when I wake up, I write it down because I know that that's something, there's something in that that comes from a divine place. And it's not hooey, Louie or Dewey. It is that is the way I know that God speaks to me that way. And Steve is howdy. So good he's there. And Mark says this is true. So glad to have you guys. We love shouting out and talking to you guys. Let's go back to our list. How to begin taking action on our dreams, write them down, pray on them specific, do some action. I mean, if you never get out of your chair, you're not going to learn to ride a horse.
Exactly.
So, what are some ideas in getting unstuck out of the chair?
Well, first and foremost, being aware that you're stuck in the chair, and really looking at a dream as something that is attainable, looking at your perspective that you have on dreams. If we have the perspective on a dream that a dream is just that thing that is out there somewhere and we'll never really reach it, then it's really easy to start making goals and things that are perhaps a bit more challenging to obtain. If we
Mm-hmm.
have the mindset that our dreams or our intentions absolutely are, we're deserving of that and we can create that and co-create that, then that takes our, then we are charged with creating action steps that are feasible to us, where we have to meet ourselves where we are and create action steps that allow us to get to our next place, and those pavers will allow us to get to breathing life into that dream.
Yes. Well, when it comes to making a change, this is one of those I always I love when I call them Terryisms because when you own your part of a situation, when you own your part, that is that's but it's the most positive thing to do, and it's not negative to own your part of a situation, to own the reason that you're not doing something. One of my favorite excuses that I threw up to you one time was I don't have time.
Hmm. And what did I say to you, Devon?
Well, you make time for what you want to do. You make time for what you want to do. You make your dreams come true. As Suzanne said, you make time for what you want to do. And I thought, yeah, I had time, but I wanted of old Grey's Anatomies. So I didn't do that positive thing that I had plans to do.
Right. About prioritizing.
Mm-hmm.
Prioritizing and really being real with yourself. Is it a
Mm-hmm.
priority? Is it a priority to do that? Is it
Mhm.
is it a self-expected priority, or is it a dream or a goal that you have, or is it something someone else wants you to do? Because if someone else is setting an expectation for our personal dreams, we likely won't prioritize that. We won't create the space to allow that to come into um, its full blooming stage. Now, if we're going to do it, sometimes, well, not sometimes, oftentimes, we'll be challenged with a negative mindset that comes up from experiences in our past. And it is up to us to either personally do the work to seek out how to dissolve that, or to seek out professional help that can help us dissolve that. But it is absolutely owning your part.
Mark says it's like you get in a rut and can't get out. And I understand that. And many of us have felt that way. Sometimes we do need to, sometimes if it is clinical depression, that's a rut that is, you can't just will yourself to not be depressed. Sometimes you need some help, and it's okay to ask that. Wayne has a great idea. Move your body, change your mind. If you just change your mindset and move forward. And that is very true, Wayne. Good. But here's the thing. Don't judge yourself so harshly if you
Mhm.
don't move at someone else's pace with change.
Exactly. Exactly. Don't judge yourself so harshly, and don't judge others because they may not be at the same mile marker you are on your journey. And so it becomes
Mhm.
really easy to judge others by going, well, you know, I mean, I've had clients come into me and say, well, my family just says I just need to snap out of it. And I'm like,
Mhm.
telling someone who is trying to work their way through trauma, or trying to work their way through some goal setting, or out of a mindset that might not be the healthiest, that they just need to snap out of it, is humiliating to that person, because
Mhm.
it implies that they just don't care. And that could not be further from the truth. Many people absolutely care. They just are not aware of the options and some of the avenues that are out there. um, and so that's why, shows like ours, and the books that are out there, and podcasts that are out there, and, Steve and his practice that's out there with hypnotherapy. There's so many options out there that sometimes, yes, it absolutely feels like we're in the rut, and we just cannot get out of it. But that also charges us with going, okay, I feel like I can't get out of it, but is that a feeling or is that a fact? Can I get out of this? I could pick up the phone and I could call. Maybe it's not a priority to do that. No judgment, you see. So we have to meet ourselves where we are, but also,
Mhm.
and again, as you said, Devon, if it is something that is of a clinical nature, then you know having that grace and not beating yourself up for that, and not allowing others to beat you up for it either.
Brenda says hi, and she adds clinical depression kid here. My aunt, okay. Nice told me it was all in my, they told her that it was all in her head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what? So what if it's all in your head? Um, so is the need for brain surgery. If you have something, if I have liver cancer, it's all in my liver. It's, whatever you have that you need help with, it's okay. And they can say whatever they want to say. The bottom line is we cannot take that into our heart. And we can no longer use something like that as an excuse not to try. When some that can really make us want to give up. There was something, Elizabeth, I love the list. I have to own my part. No matter what the situation, I always have a role. I The part that I
Mhm.
always have a role in everything is like, it's true, but I don't want to take
Mhm.
that. But it's true.
Right. Well, and that it's the sticky part, the sticky and the stinky part, because we have to look at it and go, yeah, and I believe well, I don't believe, I know I ask many, many clients this, because I've asked myself this before. What, how am I benefiting by staying in the current situation? What's the reward for that? you know,
What are you getting out of this?
what are you getting out of it? And a lot of times people will say, I'm not getting nothing out of it. But it allows us to stay in a certain mindset, a certain energy field, a certain heart space. It allows us to live small or not really live at all. We all get something out of it because it is exactly we're attached to it. We're attached to the
Mm.
outcome. We're attached to all of that, and we can say we're not, but many times when we get clear on it, we are attached, you know.
And it's hard to disengage and not be attached to the outcome, do the action, and not be attached to being able to control the outcome with everybody else's thoughts on everything. It's hard. So that's a good question, Steve. Um, Mark adds, part of my sexual assault, I feel ashamed I let it happen. Oh, wait a minute. Teri, you just jump right on in there because I know you got some answers for that one.
Well, first and foremost, being ashamed, and I get it. I get that we get in that place of shame, but shame is detrimental to our spiritual self and our mindset, right? Um, there's I wish I was private right now. I would just go all into it. But there's so much there, Mark, that you can own your part. If you were young and you had no idea what was happening, that's owning it. I didn't know. You don't have to own the shame of others limiting you. You know, again, I volley back to Steve on this because this is in his wheelhouse where we have attachments and belief systems around experiences that no longer serve us and maybe never served us. And breaking those energetic attachments are so important, no matter how we do that work.
And when we say own our part, we all have a part in everything. But if we are an innocent or a sexual assault, it's not a part as if we brought it on ourselves. It's not a part that that is not what we're saying.
Right.
Sometimes your part is that you happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time and someone made you a victim in a certain thing that you had nothing to do with. Your part might be, I was just the person there.
Sometimes owning our part in that is apologizing and forgiving ourselves for all of the shame that we've carried, for
Mhm.
blaming ourselves, for putting ourselves in a mindset where we have um, allowed ourselves to continually um, and even unconsciously punish ourselves for something that was not our fault.
Wayne adds, Mark, you didn't allow it to happen. It's something that happened to you.
Exactly.
Beautiful way to put that, Wayne. That's good. Always makes me laugh. Snap out of it. That works for absolutely no one. I used to hate hearing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, true, true. Brenda shares, I take my meds and do my best. But that is totally taking responsibility for what you need
Absolutely.
to do. That's great, Brenda. That really is good.
Absolutely. And I want to go on the record to say that anytime anyone is sharing with us, they're sharing their truth and it's very vulnerable. You're being very brave and it takes courage to put your
Hmm.
truth out there. And so anytime anyone is sharing with us, know that the intention on this end is to hold that space for you. We don't like to see anyone that's coming from a place of suffering or feeling limited or victimized in any way, shape, or form. But again, owning our part in that, I tell my clients if they're owning their part in a particular story, sometimes that requires when I'll say, have you done any forgiveness work around this? And they'll be like, I'm not going to forgive them for that. And I'm like, what about forgiving yourself for beating yourself up for so long? And they're like, I didn't even know that was an option. Of course it's an option. The ultimate goal there is to be as healthy and as happy as we can be, and owning our part, and doing our work, whatever modality that
Mm-hmm.
is the first steps.
Well, Elizabeth says, I learned doing my fourth step in AA. It's an awful part, but sometimes my role was that I benefited by continuing to play victim. And to be clear, that was only for me. Not saying that for others. I
Mhm.
love that program because it does. It says it's constantly saying, don't throw it on somebody else. Don't throw that on someone else. Um, oh, I love when we have books. Awesome book, Healing the Shame That Binds You. We're going to keep this up. This is good. Mona jumping in there. Lisa Green jumping in there. Be good to yourself. Yes. Uh, what do I own? Brenda says, and what owns me? Let the latter. Wow.
I heard this really great, again, quote at some point. I'm not sure who said it, but it said, "He who angers you controls you." And I read that years ago, and I was like, now there's some hot sauce in that delivery, because that is the truth. You know, it was the truth for me at that time. And that's a part of that question that goes back to how are we benefiting from it? Doesn't always mean that we're benefiting in, wonderful ways. It means that we are getting, because the brain doesn't work that way. A reward to the brain is not like, yay, this is a ticker tape day. The reward to the brain is, this is the pattern. We've trained for this, and this
Mm-hmm.
is the expected outcome. So I'm finding those means to validate your
Yeah.
expectation and your belief. And if you have an expectation or a belief about something, odds are your brain is not going to go rogue and try to prove it differently to you. It's going to
Mm-hmm.
comply the way that it's been molded, modeled, trained, wired, whatever it is. I have a hard time with that whole wired thing, because the the brain is can our mind can be shifted in so many ways,
Mm-hmm.
positive ways.
Barbara says, ouch, some real truths here. And she adds sexual assault and assault of verbal and physical. Then sometimes you can fall back. Of course you can. You have your days that something comes up. It's, the bird flies over. They don't have to nest, but some days they might stay a little bit longer than what you want them to. They do. And it takes an active thing to do something that's when the self-care, do something that helps you get out of that spot. Now, the number 5 is the most important one: excuses or blame others. We can't control that ever. So speak your truth, advocate for yourself, ask for what you want now, take action with your dreams, own your part. Don't make excuses or blame others. We can't control that ever. Okay. When I say that, it's because, and it might have been with you, where you said, well, what would you have them do? This person who perpetrated this horror, what would you have them do? I don't know. They need to take responsibility for that, and they need to say they're sorry, and they need to do this. Well, can you make them do that? No. Then what can you do? You can leave, you can do something positive for yourself, you can do all sorts of things, but you cannot make that other person do what is in your mind. That you can't hand them okay, this is the script.
Right. Well, and a lot of people get in that situation if they themselves, or they have a loved one or a friend who is an addict. And an addict doesn't just mean substance abuse. We can be addicted to so many different things, including toxic relationships. And so, having that expectation that we need to change someone, or
Mhm.
someone needs to change for us in order for us to, for them to make us happy, doesn't work that way. When someone has done something um, against us, then we have a choice to, if the situation presents itself and it won't be additionally harmful, to have a conversation with that person. If it is something that's additionally harmful, then being able to do that interior work on ourselves. That doesn't mean go back and reliving the experience. I tell clients all the time, it's not about putting emotional waders on and drudging through all of this old pain, because that doesn't really serve us. The body already
Mm-hmm.
knows what it's been through. So that doesn't really serve us. Being able to start blueprinting
Yeah,
how to move forward is huge. I
it
said
is.
in a post yesterday, I said we were in school, and, at least when I was in school, they taught us the whole stop, drop, and roll thing, right? And I said how helpful it would have been if they had taught us self care, what self-care is, what patience, what boundaries, because I myself have never had to stop, drop, and roll at 57 years old. I mean, I'm
Not one
glad I
time.
haven't, but not one time have I had to utilize that. So, you know I boundaries, advocating for ourselves, creating space, non-judgmental, you know that's outside of stop, dropping, and rolling. But as adults, when we know that those are options, then we can charge ourselves with taking that step of self-care.
Shout out to Candy who just joined us. We just hope that you've taken some things away from this conversation. And I will add this to our launch date. And change begins and ends with me. Speak your truth, advocate for yourself, take action with your dreams, own your part. Don't make excuses or blame others. We can't control that ever. Now, it doesn't mean that people don't need to be held accountable for something they perpetrated on us. Now,
Absolutely.
that's different than blaming, but you can't say, I was assaulted. I was assaulted. I was assaulted when I was 19. I could spend the rest of my life. What happened to me at 19? Well, my Lord, I'm almost 60 years old now. What am I going to, I've lived a lot more time. I go, bad things happen to good people, and we cannot let that take the rest of our lives.
Well, and we owe it to ourselves to begin liking ourselves until we can take over the responsibility of loving ourselves. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes that's a 5 steps forward, 3 backwards kind of tango that we do. But as long as you're doing it, as long as you're taking steps and creating an environment for yourself where you have that support and you have that love, you're moving in the right
Suzanne,
direction.
Suzanne added, dreams are not just sleeping dreams. Mine are thoughts that travel around in my mind like a merry-go-round. It seems to slow down on the negative. Yeah, getcha. It does. Brenda says, Elizabeth says, I just learned so much from y'all. Thank you. Brenda says, excellent show. And Candy adds, I was assaulted at 23, but I wasn't going to let that be who you are. It's something that happened to you, but it is not your identity.
Exactly.
Well, Teri, tell people how they can get in touch with you.
You can find me right here on Facebook. I'm also at teripugh.com. It's TERIPUGH.com. And also on Instagram under Transcending Turbulence.
We also have Launch Date Show on Instagram as well, and we try to put things there as well. You can reach out to me, Devon O'Day, at Gmail. And if you wanted to try hypnotherapy, it's amazing. If you want to try it there, you can send him a note. He's in this thread. So,
Mm-hmm.
y'all, next week we're going to talk about hand to heart wellness.
I'm so excited. She's got that new merchandise line out, and I just bought me some goodies the other
I know
day.
when you wear your affirmations, you know what I wore yesterday?
What?
I love Jesus, but I cuss a little.
You know what I wore yesterday?
What?
Own it. I have a shirt that
Say,
just says own it.
That's perfect.
you know.
That's perfect for today. Well, you guys, thanks so much for joining us. We are here every Wednesday at noon, and God bless you. Have a great rest of your day.
Increase the
Bye.
peace.